Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we would look at other consideration in pricing decisions. Now, we've been looking at consideration in pricing decision, and we looked at many consideration. We looked at cost plus. We looked at market or lead pricing. We looked at how competitors influence your price. We looked at how the price is affected by the product life cycle. In this session, we will be adding other consideration when companies decide to set a price. Now, those considerations, some of them might involve legal issues, some of them might damage customer relationship or weaken the company's competitive position. Nevertheless, sometimes those decisions are taken into account when undergoing pricing decisions. So we are going to go beyond cost and profit, beyond the competition, beyond market condition, beyond consumer behavior, beyond competitive dynamics. We're going to look at prices through price discrimination, peak load pricing, identify some illegal pricing practices, including dumping, predatory pricing, and collusion. We need to understand how cartel influence prices and competition, and recognize the role of qualitative factors in pricing and managerial decision making. And at the end, as always, we would look at a multiple choice question. But the point I want you to keep in mind is this. Remember, when we start to talk about pricing decision, we said there's always a floor, and that floor is usually the variable cost. That is the lowest that the company can price themselves under. I mean, that's it. They don't go under the floor. And there's the ceiling. And we said the ceiling is the maximum based on competition, the value that the customer can pay, so on and so forth. So the price falls in between those two. And we looked at other conditions. Now we're going to look at some other conditions that sometimes we might fall below the floor, and we're going to see why. So some of them are illegal pricing practices, but there's a reason why we undertake them. They're part of the pricing decision. They're not the norm. They're the abnormal reasons. Nevertheless, we have to take a look at those. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com.
My AI turns any lecture into a complete study system. You can create summary table, formulas, and example from each lecture. Flashcard builds from the lesson itself. A quiz build on the lesson. And as a bonus, convert any lecture into a portable short audio on the go. So it helps you with the retention. No noise, no generic responses, just clarity based on that specific lecture. Don't just watch. Interact, test yourself, and retain the material using Farhat AI. Now go to farhatlectures.com now and see how the AI can help you understand, practice, and retain the material.
Starting with price discrimination. What's a price discrimination? Price discrimination occurs when a company charges different customer different prices for the same product based on what? How sensitive they are to the price. Why? Because the goal of the company is to earn more profit by charging higher prices to customers willing to pay more and lower prices to customers who are more price sensitive. Basically, you're discriminating, but how are you discriminating? According to how you are pricing your product. For example, let's take a look at an example. Airline companies, they might sell business traveler booking for $750 and vacation traveler booking 3 months early for $250. Well, here is the seat is identical, whether you are going on vacation or you're going on a business trip. But the timing makes a difference. The seat is identical, but willingness to pay is totally different, the motivation to pay. Another example is coupons. Customers willing to spend time clipping coupon receive discount, while customers who value convenience simply pay the full price. That's another form of price discrimination. The key point to remember with price discrimination is this: higher price sensitivity equal lower prices when the demand is elastic, and lower price sensitivity when the demand is inelastic, you can charge them higher prices. Now, if you don't know what elasticity is, you got to make sure we cover this in our pricing module. We covered this in the macroeconomic. Make sure you know that. Let's take a look now at peak load pricing. Peak load pricing means charging different prices depending on when customers use the product or the service. So prices increase during busy period and decrease during slow period, which is to a great degree. We already know this. If you're traveling during the peak season, you might be charged more. If you're staying in a hotel during the peak season, you might have to charge more. And the reason for this is maximize revenue, reduce overcrowding, and encourage customer to shift demand to slower period. And that's another reason you want to spread your revenue throughout the year. And if you can do that, you will charge higher prices during the season, during the busy season. So some people might switch to low season to consume your product. So example of peak load pricing will be electricity. Afternoon is the peak time. They charge more versus the overnight. Hotels, airline, Uber, surging prices versus normal pricing. This is called peak load pricing. So same thing with a movie theater. They charge Friday night $18. Tuesday afternoon, they might charge $9 for the same identical movie. Only the demand changed. So remember, peak demand, higher prices. Low demand, lower prices. Now let's move into some illegal pricing practices and starting with dumping. And what is dumping? Well, dumping occurs when a company exports product to another country at artificially low prices to hurt local competitors. Remember what we said? We said you should have a floor. Companies should have a floor. Here, you might be even selling below your floor. And the reason you're doing this, you are undertaking a strategy called dumping. So what do you want to do with dumping? You want to run your competition out of the market. And here, government intervenes, especially when it comes to international trade. After competitors disappear, the companies that are dumping the product, now they can raise their prices and make up the difference. So the government intervene and respond by imposing anti-dumping duties, extra taxes, so you cannot dump your product and hurt the local manufacturer. An example will be a foreign steel company sells steels overseas for $350 per ton, even though it normally sells it at home for $700. Now, why would they sell it cheaper overseas? Because they want to hurt the competition in those countries. They want to drive the steel producers out. So the government in these countries, what they do, they impose anti-dumping taxes, anti-dumping duties to increase the prices so they can protect the local market. So the purpose is to drive domestic steel makers out of business. And once you drive them out of business, you go back and you sell the ton at 700 once you have basically monopoly or quasi-monopoly. Another illegal pricing practice is predatory pricing. What's predatory pricing? It occurs when a company temporarily, not always, sell below cost to eliminate competitors. So now you're waiting for your competitors to be driven out, then you raise your prices. Amazon kind of was close to that. Again, they were not convinced of predatory pricing, but they sold at cost or close to cost to drive many of their competitors out. Then once Amazon or that company have the upper hand, they can raise their prices to recover their losses. So for example, if it costs you to produce something for $15, you sell it for $10. You would lose money today. You'll have a monopoly profit tomorrow. Then you could raise your prices to $20. Collusive pricing is another illegal tactic. Collusive pricing occurs when competing firms secretly agree on prices instead of competing. Now, when we say secretly agree, they might agree explicitly or implicitly, and we'll talk about that later. But they are kind of agreeing with each other to keep the prices high. So instead of allowing market forces to determine prices, competitors coordinate prices. For example, if you're studying for your CMA or CPA exam, maybe the major CPA, I'm just giving you an example, maybe the major providers, what they will do, they will agree with each other to keep the prices between $1,500 to $2,500 per course. Now, they may not do it explicitly, but as long as they keep the prices within that range, everybody is comfortable and happy. So consumers pay more, competition will disappear. Another tactic is called cartel. Now, when you think of cartel, you think of the Mexican cartel that sells drugs. You're thinking about Narcos on Netflix. Yes, a cartel is a formal organization of producers, but they don't have to be gangster. They could be companies that agrees to limit production, divide markets, set prices. The objective in a cartel is to increase profit while reducing competition. A real-world example is the oil cartel. If several oil-producing countries like OPEC or OPEC Plus agree to reduce production, what happens is supplies falls, prices go up, those countries will make more profit. So this is an example of a cartel where all the members are agreeing together, forming an agreement to do that. Versus what we're talking about here is collusive. Collusive, if you're secretly agreeing, and sometimes implicitly or explicitly. In a cartel, it's you meet, you declare your prices, so it's more formal. A cartel is not illegal, by the way. Cartel creates artificial shortage, and artificial shortage increase prices. Again, as I told you, OPEC plus is a form of cartel. Now, secret collusion, again, this is your secretly collusion. Again, because companies do not always create formal cartel, sometimes they secretly coordinate without written agreement. This is called secret collusion, which is secret. You don't have emails, you don't have a record, you don't have meetings, but somehow you are agreeing in one way or another. For example, 3 construction companies secretly rotate winning government contracts. So they agree, I will bid this time, I'll tell you what my bid is, bid above me, so I'll take the bid. Next time we'll switch places. So each submit intentionally high bids except the company chosen to win, and the taxpayer ultimately pay higher prices. Now, are these the only factors? No, there are other qualitative factors in decision making. Qualitative means they are not price related, not number related. Managers should never make decisions using numbers only. Financial analysis is important, but qualitative factor can be equally important or even more important. Now, qualitative factors, again, as I told you, they are by nature qualitative. It means you cannot measure them through a dollar sign, through a number, but they affect future profitability. And here's a list of them. For example, employee have taken into account employee morale, customer satisfaction. So those factors goes into your motivation. For example, if you have a happy customer, if you lower their prices to keep them happy, they will come back again. Product quality matters. Higher product quality builds loyalty, then you can increase your prices. Supplier relationship. If you have a good supplier, they might reduce your disruption, they might reduce your costs, you might be able to reduce your cost, make more profit. So company reputation matters, worker safety, community relation, legal requirement, competitive position, brand image. All these are qualitative factors that influence how a pricing decision is being made. For example, if you're constantly in compliance with laws and regulation, you'll avoid fines and penalties. It means your cost is lower. If your cost is lower, your prices will be lower. You are more competitive. So those are. And the opposite is true. If you get charged fines and penalties, you have a higher cost, then you either have to make less profit or increase your prices, which will make you less competitive. So those are qualitative factors that also goes into making a pricing decision. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. A company intentionally sells product below production cost to force competitor out of the market. What is this practice known as? Is it peak loading prices, predatory prices, price discrimination, cartel prices? Well, peak loading, it means you're selling at the highest price possible. Here they're selling, you're selling below your production, so that's not peak pricing. Is it predatory? Predatory is what? Predatory is when you sell your product at a loss for now, hoping to make the profit later. This sounds like B, but let's look at C. Price discrimination is when you charge different customer different prices depending on their need and timing, so that's not it. Cartel pricing is coordinating multiple firms together and usually to drive the price up, and here we're not talking about this. B is the best answer choice for this. what should you do now? Whether you're a CPA exam candidate, CMA exam candidate, accounting, finance student, I would recommend you go to Farhat lectures, look at additional resources, videos, multiple choice cases, simulation, exercises. The best investment you can make is invest in yourself. Good luck and God bless.